Namaskar. In these visuals, we will know about how theory of biogenesis was finally proved. Louis Pasteur performed very simple but brilliant experiment to blow the spontaneous generation theory. Based on previous work of various scientists, Pasteur made conclusion that microbes are associated with the dust particle floating in the air. He took boiled meat infusion in a swan neck flask. The flasks were referred because of their resemblance to the S-shaped swan neck. The dust particles, along with associated microbes, were caught by gravity in the bend of the curved portion of the swan neck flask. Therefore, untreated and unfiltered air is introduced in flasks through the swan neck opening. On further incubation of plants, he found that there was no growth of microorganisms in plants. Friends, you might surprise that several original flasks, sealed later on, are on display at Pasteur Institute Paris. They are still sterile today, after more than 100 years. Louis Pasteur, a great genius of microbiology, responsible for the incredible contribution to the science. This year, 2022, is a bicentenary of Louis Pasteur's birth. Johann F. Tyndall devised an experimental culture chamber consist of wooden box. A small glass window was made in each of the two opposite sides. A pipette was inserted from top to fill the tube with a sterile medium. The interior of box was coated with glycerin to trap the dust particles and maintain it as a optically empty. That means totally free from dust. The air was introduced through the tubes with several vertical bends, somewhat similar to the Pasteur swan neck flask. The infusion containing tubes in optically empty chamber remains sterile as long as air in box remains dust-free. Tyndall's experiment gave the finishing stroke to the doctrine of spontaneous generation. However, when Tyndall repeated same experiment with a sterile dried hay, means a dried grass, he got conflicting result. Growth occurred in tube. After performing the several experiment, Tyndall concluded that microorganisms might exist in thermostable form which become active when proper nutrients were available. Tyndall developed a subsequent heating and cooling method to kill these heat-stable form. This process is now referred as a Tyndallization. Ferdinand Kohn discovered the nature of that thermostable form of bacteria and referred to them as endospores. Merely based on observation, the beliefs were recognized as spontaneous generation theory, which is supported by John Bautista and Owen Helmont and the great Aristotle. After providing experimental proof, the non-spontaneous generation theory was established by Redi, Joblet, Spallanzani, Shoes and Shawn, Schroeter and Deutsch, Pasteur, and Tyndall. The theory of abiogenesis proposed that living organisms generated from the non-living matter. It was substituted now by the theory of biogenesis, which demonstrated that living organisms are generated from the living organisms only. Friends, failure to know what occurred before we were born means to always remain a child. I hope this visual offered a way to think and demonstrate scientifically. Thank you for listening me patiently.